Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to this week's live Q&A. I'm doing it early today. Because I've got a client I'm taking through the closure technique later this afternoon, and those sessions can last like 3 hours. So I just wanted to get this done right up front. And there we go. So, guys, welcome to the group. Welcome to the community. We've had about 20 people join over the last week. I'm excited to have you here. We're all about breaking free of codependency, and fundamentally, that really actually breaks down to embracing our value, knowing our value, being it, connecting with and hearing our voice and following it, and then that reveals our vision, and we can do that. That's how we actually break free of codependency. Hi, Nicole. And so that's actually my next big leap in helping you guys actually connect with your brilliance and create things that really, really matter to you in your life is those 3 steps. So there'll be more of that coming here in December when when ready to launch that, put you guys through that system. So, okay, let's get to those live Q&A questions. First question that came up was, how do I allow myself to be free of negative talk to myself? You don't get free of negative talk. Now, a lot of times with self-help, with affirmation, with trying to improve ourselves and stuff, we try to change our thinking. We try to force ourselves to be and do different things. And it never really works because, 1, we're using force. 2, we don't really understand what's fundamentally going on. So when we talk about negative self-talk, we're talking about a program, like a record or a tape that's running over and over and over in our heads. And that tape is powered by trauma. It's powered by experience. It's powered by external influence, like our parents told us this, or culture or society, something that we'd had chronic exposure to. We absorbed that. Now, you can't just stop that tape. What you have to do is become an observer of it. That's your first step, is to start observing your thoughts rather than absorbing them as truth, reality, or fact. When you're able to observe thoughts for what they really are, which are just thoughts, they're not real, they're not true, they're not reality, they're not facts, then you'll have the opportunity to create a new influence in your self-talk. And the most effective way of making this happen, to kind of replace that tape, is to actually record yourself saying certain things to yourself that you actually have a positive emotional response to. And that will easily start creating a new record in how you automatically talk to yourself. Now, this is important. It needs to have an emotional impact. The reason why is because your thoughts are a product of neurological encoding, and neurological encoding happens really quick when it's attached to an intense feeling, whether positive or negative. So if you record yourself saying, I love and appreciate you just as you are, and you feel that, you're getting a neurological link, which is going to greatly increase the rate in which your brain adopts that for yourself, and it's going to become more automatic and more easy to receive and absorb and internalize as a truth for you, and then you start automatically hearing it more. So there are some ways to actually rewrite your negative self-talk so that you can break free of that. All right, I do not know what happened. It just decided to stop streaming. The app I use was like, I've decided to stop streaming. So we're back. Okay, so to wrap that up with that first question, how do I allow myself to be free of negative self-talk? We don't eliminate self-talk. We reprogram it. We reprogram it by using recordings of our own voice telling us certain kinds of affirmations that we have an emotional response to. That emotional response will lead to faster encoding subconsciously and neurologically for ourselves. Also, hold space. Observe your thoughts. They're not truth. They're not reality. They're not the things that they're not facts. When we treat our thoughts for what they really are, thoughts, then we become free of them. We're able to reprogram them. All right, so let's try this again with the next question here. How do we develop an internal parent inside us? What is the process? Internal parenting is the ability to reference ourselves from a more developed point of view, more experienced or wise point of view, and coach ourselves emotionally through something that is painful for us, or to catch ourselves in some of our own immaturity. Like maybe we have a bad habit of, I don't know, whining about something. Well, we can catch that and we can then go, I can do better than that. What do I want to do here? So self-parenting is really about awareness of things we want to improve and change in our life and ourselves, so we have better results, better consequences that we want to have in our lives. And so developing that internal sense of a parent is really more of a external consciousness about ourselves, and then being proactive in parenting and holding ourselves accountable for the things we do that affect others negatively, that affect our lives negatively, or that are simply not congruent with our own values and our own objectives in our lives. So internal parenting that's a big question, but that's kind of like a really simplified view of that. If you're a member of Codependency to Confidence, I actually lead you through a reparenting process in the Addiction to Connection 12-week training that helps us eliminate internalized loneliness, emptiness, and love addiction. So that's a start to that process. Okay, let's see. How do I end overthinking? Well, overthinking is a product of hypervigilance, and hypervigilance is a result of trauma, specifically either PTSD or complex PTSD. Both produce hypervigilance. So you can eliminate overthinking by getting closure on the trauma, by regulating your anxiety, your nervous system, regulating it down to calm, and also becoming an observer of your thoughts. If you have the calm system, you can use the thought observation tool in that. Now, Calm is free, guys. I've sold it for a long time, and I'm like, why? It works so well for helping people eliminate anxieties, control in their life. I'll put the link in the comments below. But yeah, those are the easiest ways to eliminate overthinking, because most of the time people are trying to control their thinking. They're resisting it. They're being antagonistic with it. They get frustrated with it, and that amplifies their sense of shame, their sense of powerlessness, and their frustration with it. And ironically, you're overthinking, right? You're overthinking how to get out of it, because you're not sure, you're not secure in what to do. So you got to move out of trying to control outcome and move into curiosity and allow yourself to discover things. So when you stop insisting that you have to protect yourself all the time, your overthinking gets to stop and you get more creative, because you're safe, you've survived. And unless you're in a toxic environment or a toxic relationship, you're actually safe right now. So we got to reduce hypervigilance by reducing our anxiety and eliminating trauma that might be motivating that. How do I end self-doubt? Well, self-doubt has some interesting problems with it, interesting causations. One of it's a self-doubt of value. And this is big. This is it. Value. Really, our relationship to our feelings about our value is the key to solving your need for codependence, your need, or even for self-doubt. A lot of times we self-doubt because we're scared of our potential. We're scared of upsetting other people or disappointing them because we do really well. We've also been conditioned to doubt ourselves through gaslighting. They give you statements or questions like, is that really what happened? You're remembering that wrong. You don't know what you're really talking about. You don't remember that right. That kind of thing. So we've learned to doubt ourselves. We've learned to question ourselves rather than learning to believe our experience, believe the validity of our feelings, wants, and needs in our person. So, sorry. So if you want to end self-doubt, you've got to heal your relationship with your intrinsic value, and you've got to start believing yourself. So, boom, that's how you do that. Let's see, next question. How to help others see through the lies. Okay, so you're being gaslit. Basically, you have what's called a smear campaign going on in the background. And this smear campaign is really threatening your sense of well-being and could hurt your family. So guys, typically we want to get into a defense mode, right? We're going to raise the shields and we're going to point the missiles at the bad people and blow them up with our facts and with our arguments and our defensiveness and all that. None of that's going to work. None of that's going to work. What happens when we get into that mode is the human brain goes into what's called backfire effect. It's like, whoa, they're defending themselves. They must be guilty. Because, if you didn't have anything to hide, you wouldn't be defending yourself, that kind of thing. It doesn't work well for us. So, there's a trick to this. And this is what you got to do. Number 1, ask them this question. What's your experience of me? Is what you're hearing line up with your experience of me? What this does is it gets them to evaluate this conclusion they've heard, that's the rumor, and come to a decision for themselves about their relationship with you rather than adopting that other person's point of view as their own. Because now you're not defending anything, and that puts the brain, it puts them into a state of question. They're like, well, you're not defensive, you're not fighting, so okay. And then they're like, yeah, what is my experience of you? Huh. You've had integrity, you've been kind, the claims that you're a liar, you're this, you're that, don't line up. Interesting. See, they start to use their personal experience to come to a relevant conclusion about what's going on regarding you, and that allows them to become an honest supporter of you. Because now they've critically evaluated their thinking and their awareness, and they can address it straight on. So that's what you do. There isn't anything you can do about other people's beliefs about you. That's in their yard. You can't control it. There's nothing other than asking that question that's really going to work to your advantage in those kinds of scenarios where you're having a smear campaign against you. And I empathize because I've gone through many. I've gone through like 3 this year. Just people get a thing in their head because they're angry with you, they're jealous of you, they're frustrated, they're insecure, they've got their thing going on, and you're the target, the blame, the place to blame, right? Because it's a deflection or projection of their own pain. So, yep, that is my answers for this week's Q&A. I appreciate you guys. Again, if you're new to the community, welcome. I'm excited to have you here. Definitely check out the welcome post that's pinned to the top of the group because there's an enormous amount of resources available for you and kickstarting your healing out of codependency and getting you connected back to your brilliance. And guys, I'm really excited to introduce you to the Brilliance Mastermind. That's going to be we're going to start talking about that next week. Enrollment will open up in November. Opens up once a year, and there's only 25 spots, and people make big, phenomenal changes in their lives with money, with love, with health, with their relationships, with their kids, their careers, their purpose. And that's what it's designed to do. So I'm excited to be able to offer that and bring you guys in. We're going to have some fun. If you're ready to heal your codependency, jump into the Codependency Confidence System. I'll put a link below for that. There'll be some changes coming to that the first of the year. One of the big changes that will be instituted pretty quickly here is the price drop right now. It's you can get it through the masterclass for $497, It'll be available for the rest of the year for $249. That way you can actually kick some butt in your life and actually heal, because this system does that. That's what it's designed to do. It takes you from your codependency to your confidence by healing your relationship with your identity and releasing all the shame, guilt, fear, and fatigue around your value, reconnecting you with yourself and others, and giving you the skills you need to break free. So, there you go, guys. I appreciate you. And if you have more questions, continue to ask them. I will get to them next week in next week's live Q&A. Talk to you guys tomorrow with Marshall's Minute, and you guys have a great day. I'll also be doing some videos on fear later today too, so keep an eye out for that. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.